The shuttle doors opened with a soft hiss, and Sam Carter stepped onto the metal floor of Velar Prime for the first time. The space station was huge. Lights of every color glowed from signs he could not read. Beings of all shapes and sizes walked past him without a second look. Some had scales. Some had fur. Some had too many legs to count. Sam took a deep breath and walked forward. He was 19 years old, and he was the first human ever admitted to the Galactic Academy of Sciences. Back on Earth, this was considered a great honor. Here, among the stars, Sam was starting to realize that honor did not mean the same thing as respect. A tall creature with a hard shell and many eyes approached him. Its voice came out in clicks that Sam's translator turned into words. "You are the human," it said. It was not a question. "Yes," Sam replied, "I am Sam Carter." The creature looked him up and down. Its many eyes blinked one at a time. "Small," it said, then it walked away. Sam did not let the comment bother him. He had been warned that aliens did not think much of humans. Earth had only made contact with the galactic community 5 years ago. In that time, humans had earned a reputation for being weak, fragile, and short-lived. Sam knew this was not the full truth, but he also knew that arguing would not change anyone's mind. He followed the signs to the main hall where orientation was taking place. The room was filled with students from dozens of different worlds. Sam found a seat near the back and sat down quietly. A few students glanced at him and then looked away, uninterested. At the front of the room stood the instructor. His name was, and he was in with long limbs and shiny black eyes. He moved with sharp, quick motions as he spoke to the class. "Welcome to the Galactic Academy," said. "You have been selected from your worlds because you show promise. Here, you will learn about the universe and your place in it." Sam listened carefully. He noticed that eyes kept moving across the room but never stopped on him. It was as if the instructor did not consider him worth noticing. "Today, we will begin with a simple lesson," continued. "The Galactic Species Classification System. This system ranks all known species based on their physical abilities, intelligence, and threat level." A holographic chart appeared in the air. It showed different categories, from Category 1 at the top to Category 10 at the bottom. Category 1 species were the most dangerous and powerful. Category 10 species were considered harmless. Pointed at different parts of the chart as he explained. For example, are Category 2. They are large, strong, and highly aggressive. They are Category 6. They are intelligent but physically weak. A soft-furred student near Sam shifted in her seat. She was small, with large dark eyes and gentle features. Sam guessed she was. "And humans," said, finally looking at Sam, "are Category 7. They are short-lived, fragile, and pose no significant threat." A few students laughed. Sam kept his face calm. He had expected this. A reptilian student in the front row turned to look at Sam. His scales were dark green, and his eyes were yellow with vertical slits. He was large and muscular, and he carried himself like someone who had never lost a fight. "Category 7, the reptilian said loudly. "That is lower than grazing animals on my world." He laughed, and others joined him. Sam said nothing. The reptilian stood up and walked towards Sam. His name was, and he came from the predator world. His people were warriors, hunters, and conquerors. They did not respect weakness. "Tell me, human," said, standing over Sam. "How did your kind even reach space? Did you ask politely?" More laughter filled the room, did not stop it. Sam looked up he did not stand, he did not raise his voice. "We built ships," he said simply, "and we flew them." Snorted, "Prey animals do not build ships." "And yet here I am," Sam replied. Stared at him for a long moment, waiting for Sam to show fear or anger. When neither came, the reptilian made a sound of disgust and returned to his seat. "Waste of time," he muttered. The orientation continued, spoke about schedules, rules, and expectations. Sam took notes and asked no questions. When the session ended, the students began to leave. The girl approached Sam as he gathered his things. She was nervous, her ears folded back against her head. She said quietly. I saw what happened. Why did you not defend yourself? Sam smiled at her. Defend myself from what? Words. Tilted her head. On my world, to be called weak is a great insult. You should have challenged him. Maybe, Sam said, but there is nothing to prove yet. Did not seem to understand. You are strange human. Sam, he corrected gently. My name is Sam. She nodded slowly. Sam, I think you are either very foolish or very clever. I have not decided which. Sam laughed softly. Let me know when you figure it out. They walked together toward the dormitories. Along the way, Sam noticed other students pointing at him and whispering. He ignored them. He had faced worse back home. Middle school had been harder than this. As they reached the hallway where their paths split, spoke again. Tomorrow, instructor will teach about apex predators of the galaxy. It is supposed to be very exciting. Sam's expression shifted just slightly. Something flickered in his eyes that could not read. Apex predators, Sam repeated. That should be interesting. Watched him walk away toward his room. She could not explain why, but something about the way he said those words made her fur stand on end. It was as if he knew something that she did not. She shook off the feeling and went to her own room. Tomorrow would be just another lesson. What could a human possibly have to say about predators? The lecture hall was full when Sam arrived the next morning. Students sat in curved rows that rose up toward the back of the room. Holographic projectors lined the walls, ready to display images from across the galaxy. Sam found a seat near the middle and waited. Spotted him and made her way over. She sat down beside him, her ears twitching with excitement. I love this lesson, she said. Apex predators are fascinating, terrifying but fascinating. Sam nodded. I am looking forward to it. Instructor entered the room and the chatter died down. He moved to the center of the floor and raised one of his long arms. The lights dimmed and the holographic projectors hummed to life. Today, announced, we study the most dangerous creatures in the known galaxy, apex predators. These are the beings that sit at the top of their food chains. They have no natural enemies. They are perfect killing machines. The first image appeared. It was a massive creature with 6 legs and a body covered in black armor. Its mouth was filled with teeth that curved backward like hooks. This is the night crawler of Prime, explained. It hunts in complete darkness. It can sense heat from 50 meters away. A single bite can cut through reinforced steel. The students watched in silence. Some leaned forward with interest. Others looked nervous. More images followed. Each predator was more terrifying than the last. There were creatures with venomous spines, creatures that could turn invisible, and creatures that hunted in coordinated packs. Then stood up. The reptilian walked to the center of the room with pride in every step. Instructor said, May I present the apex predator of my world? Nodded, please go ahead. Activated his personal display and a new hologram appeared. The creature was low to the ground, with 6 muscular legs and a long tail ending in a blade-like spike. Its skin was dark red, and its eyes glowed with a faint yellow light. This is the blood stalker of, announced. It weighs over 200 kilograms. It can run at speeds of 70 kilometers per hour. It hunts in packs of up to 20 individuals. On my world, young warriors must face a bloodstalker alone as a rite of passage. Many do not survive. The class made sounds of approval. Some students clapped, looked around the room with satisfaction. Excellent, said. The bloodstalker is truly a remarkable predator. Does anyone else wish to present? Several more students took turns. A spider-like student showed a creature from her world that could spit acid. A tall, thin student displayed a flying predator with a wingspan of 15 meters. Each presentation was met with respect and admiration. Finally looked toward Sam. His expression was dismissive, almost bored. "Human," he said, "does your world have any predators worth mentioning, or shall we move on?" A few students laughed, smirked from his seat. Sam stood up slowly. He did not react to the laughter. "Earth has many predators," he said. "May I access the holographic archive? The Academy recently acquired Earth's wildlife database." Waved a hand carelessly. "If you insist, though I doubt you will impress anyone." Sam walked to the center of the room. He connected to the archive and began searching. The class watched with mild curiosity, expecting nothing special. The first image Sam displayed was a wolf. It was a gray animal with thick fur and sharp teeth. It stood about 1 meter tall at the shoulder. "This is a wolf," Sam said. "It is a pack hunter. Wolves work together to bring down prey much larger than themselves." A few students nodded. The wolf was interesting but not remarkable. Sam continued. The next image was a lion. It was larger than the wolf, with a golden mane around its head and powerful muscles beneath its skin. "This is a lion," Sam explained. "It is called the king of beasts on Earth. A male lion can weigh over 200 kilograms. It can kill prey with a single bite to the throat." More students sat up now. The lion was impressive. Called out from his seat, 200 kilograms. The blood stalker weighs the same. Is that the best your world has?" Sam looked at him calmly. "No," he said. "The lion is not the largest predator on Earth. It is not even close." He scrolled through the database until he found what he was looking for. He paused on a file labeled and turned to face the class. "This one," Sam said, "is called a grizzly bear." The hologram shifted. The lion disappeared, and in its place stood something else entirely. The grizzly bear rose up on its hind legs. It stood nearly 3 meters tall. Its body was massive, covered in thick brown fur. Its paws were the size of dinner plates, and its claws were as long as human fingers. Its mouth opened slightly, revealing teeth that could crush bone. The room went silent. Made a small sound beside Sam's empty seat. Her eyes were wide, and her fur was standing on end. Had gone very still. His hand had moved toward his side, reaching for a weapon that was not there. Even Instructor had stopped moving. His compound eyes were fixed on the hologram, reflecting the image of the bear over and over. Sam let the silence stretch for a moment. Then he spoke again, his voice calm and steady. "The grizzly bear lives in the forests of North America. It can weigh up to 600 kilograms. It can run at 56 kilometers per hour. Its claws can tear through metal. Its bite can crush a bowling ball." He paused and looked around the room. "And this creature lives in the same forests where human children go camping." No one laughed. No one spoke. The only sound was the soft hum of the holographic projector. Sam stood in the center of the room, the image of the grizzly bear towering behind him, and waited for the questions he knew were coming. The grizzly bear hologram stood in the center of the lecture hall like a nightmare given form. Its shadow fell across the front rows of students, and those sitting closest had pressed themselves back into their seats as far as they could go. Had not moved since the image appeared. Her heart was beating so fast she could hear it in her ears. Every instinct in her body was screaming at her to run, to hide, to get away from this monster. But it was only a hologram. It could not hurt her. She had to remind herself of this several times. A student from one of the back rows let out a nervous laugh that quickly died. "That cannot be real," he said. "The human is lying." Sam shook his head slowly. "The archive is from Earth's official wildlife database. You can verify it yourself." Instructor stepped forward. His movements were careful, as if he was afraid the hologram might suddenly become solid. 600 kilograms, he repeated. "And you say it can run at 56 kilometers per hour." "Yes," Sam confirmed. "A grizzly bear can cover short distances very quickly. Most prey cannot outrun it." "Then how do humans escape from them?" another student demanded. Her voice was high with fear. Sam turned to face her. "We do not always escape," he said honestly. "Every year there are attacks, people are hurt, some are killed, but most of the time humans and grizzly bears avoid each other. We have learned how to live near them." The class erupted in confused noise. Students talked over each other, asking questions that Sam could not answer all at once. "Raised a hand for silence. One at a time," he ordered. Then he looked at Sam. "You say humans have learned to live near these creatures. How is that possible? A being this size and strength would dominate any ecosystem." Sam nodded. "Grizzly bears are dangerous, but they are not the only threat on Earth." He turned back to the holographic display and scrolled through more files. "Let me show you some others." The next image was a great white shark. It was a sleek gray torpedo of muscle and teeth, swimming through blue water. Sam explained that it could grow to 6 meters long and weighed over 2,000 kilograms. Its bite could cut a human in half. Then came the crocodile. It was a living dinosaur with armored skin and jaws strong enough to crush bone. It could grow to 7 meters and waited beneath the water for prey to come close. Then came the hippopotamus. Many students laughed when they first saw it. The animal looked fat and slow, but Sam explained that hippos were responsible for more human deaths in Africa than any other large animal. They were aggressive, territorial, and could bite a small boat in half. Then came the box jellyfish. It was small and almost invisible in the water. Its tentacles carried venom so powerful that a single sting could kill a human in minutes. Then came the snakes. Sam showed the king cobra, the black mamba, and the inland taipan. Each one carried venom that could kill dozens of humans with a single bite. By the time Sam finished, the class was silent again. But this time the silence was different. It was not just fear, it was confusion. Finally spoke. His voice was quieter than before. "How do humans survive on your world? You are not large, you are not armored. You do not have claws or fangs or venom. How are you still alive?" Sam looked at the reptilian for a long moment. "We learned," he said. "We watched the predators. We studied them. We figured out their patterns and weaknesses. And when we could not run or hide, we fought back." "Fought back with what?" demanded. "Your soft skin, your dull teeth." "With tools," Sam said. "With weapons, with fire, with each other." He paused. "Humans are not strong alone, but we are never alone. We work together, we protect each other, and we do not give up." Raised her hand slowly. Her voice trembled when she spoke. "But the grizzly bear," she said, "it is so much bigger and stronger than a human. How can you fight something like that?" Sam looked at her gently. "Most of the time we do not fight them. We avoid them. We make noise when we walk through the forest so they hear us coming. We store our food in special containers so the smell does not attract them. If we see one, we stay calm and back away slowly." He pulled up a video file. The class watched as a human woman stood on her back porch, facing a black bear that had wandered into her yard. The bear was smaller than the grizzly but still large enough to kill her easily. The woman did not run. She did not scream in panic. Instead, she shouted loudly, waved her arms, and stomped her feet. The bear hesitated, then turned and ran away. "That bear weighs at least 150 kilograms, Sam said. "The woman weighs maybe 60, but she stood her ground and the bear decided she was not worth the trouble." The room was completely quiet. Stepped closer to the holographic display. He pulled up Earth's planetary file and stared at the data. His compound eyes moved back and forth as he read. "Class 12, he said softly. The words echoed through the silent room. "What does that mean?" a student asked. Turned to face the class. "It means," he said slowly, "that Earth is one of the most dangerous planets in the known galaxy. It means that humans did not evolve on a gentle world. They evolved in a war zone." Every eye in the room turned to Sam. Sam stood calmly in the center of the floor, the hologram of the grizzly bear still towering behind him. He did not look proud or smug. He just looked like what he was, a survivor from a world that made creatures like the grizzly bear seem almost normal. "Class dismissed," said quietly. "We will continue this discussion tomorrow." No one moved. They all just kept staring at the human who had suddenly become the most interesting person in the room. Word spread through the academy like fire through dry grass. By the end of the day, everyone on Velar Prime had heard the story. The human had shown a grizzly bear. Earth was a class 12. Everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong. Sam noticed the change immediately. Students who had ignored him before now watched him from a distance. Some moved out of his way when he walked down the hallway. Others whispered to each other as he passed. He was no longer invisible. He was something else entirely. The next morning, Sam went to the Academy Commons for breakfast. The large room was filled with students from dozens of species, all eating food from their own worlds. Sam found an empty table near the window and sat down with his tray. He had barely started eating when appeared beside him. She was carrying her own tray and looked nervous. "May I sit with you?" she asked. Sam nodded, "Of course." Sat down across from him. For a moment she just stared at her food, then she looked up. "Everyone is talking about you," she said. "I noticed," Sam replied. "They are afraid of you now," continued. "They think you might be dangerous." Sam took a bite of his breakfast and chewed slowly. "Am I?" Tilted her head. "I do not know. That is what I am trying to figure out." Sam smiled slightly. "I told you I am not here to hurt anyone. That has not changed." Before could respond, a shadow fell over the table. They both looked up to see standing there. The reptilian looked different than before. His posture was less aggressive. His expression was uncertain. Human said, "Sam, may I speak with you?" Sam gestured to the empty seat beside. "Sit down." Hesitated, then sat. He was quiet for a moment as if searching for the right words. Finally, he spoke. "I want to understand something. Your people come from a world filled with monsters, creatures that could kill you easily. Yet you act so calm, so peaceful. Why?" Sam set down his eating utensil and thought about the question. "Do you know what a persistence hunter is?" he asked. Shook his head. "On Earth, millions of years ago, our ancestors did not have claws or fangs or venom. We could not outrun most prey animals. We could not overpower them, so we developed a different strategy." Sam leaned forward slightly. "We would chase them." Frowned. "Chase them, but you said humans are not fast." "Not in short bursts," Sam agreed. "But humans can run for a very long time. We have almost no fur, so we can sweat to cool down. Most animals cannot do this. They have to stop and rest. But humans do not stop. We keep moving. We follow the tracks. We wait for our prey to tire." Sam paused to let the words sink in. "Our ancestors would chase an animal for hours, sometimes for days. They would follow it through heat and cold, over hills and through rivers. Eventually, the animal would collapse from exhaustion, and then the humans would catch it." Was staring at Sam with a mixture of horror and fascination. "You hunted by outlasting your prey." "Yes," Sam said. "We were not the fastest or the strongest, but we were the most patient, the most stubborn. We never gave up." His ears had flattened against her head. "That is terrifying," she whispered. Sam looked at her gently. "It is just survival. Every species does what it must to live." Leaned back in his seat. "But if your people are persistence hunters, if you evolve to chase prey until it drops, then why are you so calm? Why do you not attack everyone you see?" Sam was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was thoughtful. "Because we had to learn control. On a world as dangerous as Earth, aggression without purpose leads to death. We learned to pick our battles. We learned to cooperate. We learned that sometimes the smart choice is to walk away." He looked directly at. "We have all the instincts of a predator, but we also have the wisdom to know when not to use them. That is what makes us human." The three of them sat in silence for a while. Around them, the commons continued its normal activity, but their small table felt separate from everything else. Finally asked a question that had been bothering her. "Sam, have you ever actually seen a grizzly bear? In real life, not in a hologram?" Sam nodded slowly. "Once. I was 14 years old. My family went camping in the mountains. One night, a grizzly wandered into our campsite. Both and went very still." "What happened?" asked. Sam's eyes grew distant as if he was seeing that night all over again. "I was sleeping in my tent. I heard something moving outside. When I looked out, the bear was right there, maybe 10 meters away. It was huge, bigger than the hologram I showed you. It was sniffing at our food storage." His voice was barely a whisper. "What did you do?" "I stayed calm," Sam said. "I remembered what my father taught me. Do not run. Running triggers the chase instinct. Do not scream. Loud sudden noises can provoke an attack. Just stay still and let the bear decide you are not a threat." He paused. "So I sat there in my tent, barely breathing, and watched the bear. It looked at me once, just a quick glance. Then it went back to sniffing around. After about 5 minutes, it lost interest and walked back into the forest." Exhaled loudly. "You were 10 meters from a 600-kilogram predator, and you did nothing." "I did exactly what I needed to do," Sam corrected. "I stayed alive." The reptilian shook his head slowly. "On my world, we are taught that strength means fighting. It means proving yourself against your enemies, but you humans do not think that way." "We think about winning," Sam said simply. "And sometimes winning means not fighting at all." At that moment, a message appeared on the table's display screen. It was from Instructor. He was requesting a private meeting with Sam that afternoon. Sam read the message and stood up. "I should go prepare," he said. "I have a feeling this conversation is not over yet." He left the commons, leaving and alone at the table. They looked at each other with expressions of new understanding. "I was wrong about him," said quietly. Nodded, "So was I." They both looked toward the door where Sam had disappeared, wondering what other surprises the humans still had to show them. 3 weeks had passed since Sam showed the grizzly bear to the class. In that time, everything had changed. The human who once sat alone in the back of the lecture hall was now surrounded by curious students wherever he went. Some wanted to ask questions about Earth. Some wanted to hear more stories about human survival. Some just wanted to be near the person who had turned their understanding of the galaxy upside down. Instructor had not wasted any time. After his private meeting with Sam, he had submitted a formal report to the Academy Council requesting a full review of the human species classification. The report included everything Sam had shared, along with additional research from Earth's wildlife database. The Council had agreed to review the matter, and a decision was expected soon. Today, Sam stood at the front of the main auditorium. It was much larger than the lecture hall, with seating for over 1,000 beings. Every seat was filled. Students had come from all departments of the academy. Even instructors from other fields had arrived to listen. Sam had been invited to give a special guest lecture on Earth's ecosystems. He had accepted, knowing this was his chance to help the galaxy understand what humans really were. He began simply with a map of Earth. He showed them the different continents, the oceans, the deserts, and the frozen poles. He explained that Earth had extreme temperature variations, from scorching heat to deadly cold. He talked about hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. He described a planet that was constantly trying to kill everything living on it. The audience listened in stunned silence. Then Sam moved on to the creatures. He showed them more predators: the African wild dog, the Komodo dragon, the wolverine, the honey badger. He showed them venomous spiders and scorpions that lived in human homes. He showed them parasites that burrowed into skin and bacteria that could kill in hours. And then, because the audience seemed ready for it, he showed them one more thing. "This," Sam said, "is a human marathon." The holographic display showed thousands of humans running together through the streets of a city. They were covered in sweat, their faces twisted with effort, but they kept moving, mile after mile, hour after hour. A standard marathon is 42 kilometers, Sam explained. Humans run this distance for fun. Some humans run even longer distances. There is a race in America called the Ultramarathon. It is 217 kilometers through the hottest desert on Earth. Humans complete it in less than 2 days. The audience made sounds of disbelief. This is persistence hunting in its modern form, Sam said. We no longer chase animals, but we never lost the ability. Humans are built for endurance. We can walk and run longer than almost any animal on our planet. We do not stop until we decide to stop. He turned off the display and faced the audience directly. Humans are not the fastest species. We are not the strongest. We do not have armor or claws or venom, but we have something else. We have the will to keep going when everything tells us to quit. We adapt to any environment. We learn from every failure. And we protect the people we care about with everything we have. The auditorium was completely silent. Sam paused, then spoke again. When humans first reached space, we were excited to meet other species. We hoped to find friends. We hoped to share what we had learned on our dangerous world. Instead, we found that the galaxy considered us weak and unimportant, a Category 7 species, barely worth noticing. He smiled slightly. I am not here to prove that humans are dangerous. I am here to prove that we are worth knowing. We have survived a world that should have killed us 1,000 times over, and we did it not through strength alone, but through courage, cooperation, and stubborn refusal to give up. When Sam finished speaking, no one moved. The silence stretched for several seconds. Then, slowly, someone in the back started clapping. Others joined. The sound grew and grew until the entire auditorium was filled with applause. After the lecture, Sam found himself surrounded by well-wishers. Students shook his hand and thanked him for sharing his knowledge. Instructors invited him to speak at other events. Even species that had seemed hostile before now looked at him with new respect. Pushed through the crowd and stood before Sam. The reptilian looked different than he had 3 weeks ago. The arrogance was gone from his posture. In its place was something that looked like genuine respect. I owe you an apology, said. I called your people prey animals. I mocked you. I was wrong. Sam shook his head. You did not know, now you do. That is all that matters. Extended his hand in the human gesture of greeting that he had clearly practiced. Sam took it and shook. I would be honored to call you a friend, said. Then we are friends, Sam replied. Later that evening, Sam sat alone on an observation deck, looking out at the stars. Found him there and sat down beside him. The council made their decision, she said. Humans have been reclassified, Category 2. Sam raised his eyebrows. That fast? Nodded. The evidence was overwhelming. You are now officially considered one of the most dangerous species in known space. Sam laughed softly. I am not sure that is a good thing. It means you will be respected, said. It means no one will underestimate your people again. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching distant suns flicker in the darkness. Finally asked the question she had been holding back. Sam, what do humans fear? You live alongside grizzly bears and sharks and volcanoes. You survive conditions every day. Is there anything that scares you? Sam thought for a long moment. When he answered, his voice was quiet and sincere. We fear losing the people we care about, he said. A human will face any danger, fight any enemy, survive any hardship. But losing someone we love can break us in ways that nothing else can. He turned to look at. That is our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. We care too much, and we will do anything to protect what we care about. Nodded slowly. She understood now. Humans were not weak. They had never been weak. They were just different from anything the galaxy had seen before. She looked at Sam. this small, soft creature from a world of monsters, and she was glad that he was her friend. The stars continued to shine, and somewhere in the vast darkness of space, a species once thought weak had finally shown the galaxy what they truly were.